Hi, everyone. I'm Colleen Benelli. This is Reiki Lifestyle Podcast. I'm here with Robin. Hi, Robin.
Hi.
I'm super excited about our guest today, Kenloch. He's been here before. Hi, Kenloch.
Hi everyone, this is Kenloch.
And he is joining us from Australia today, and we're going to catch up with him. He brought such a wealth of information the last time we had him on our podcast about the Reiki symbols, also his story in Hong Kong, which is where he was then, and now he has since moved to Australia. But he also uh, is based in both Hong Kong and Australia. He's proficient in Cantonese, Mandarin, English, and he also really bridges the Chinese and international Reiki communities. He's recently hosted William Rand in Hong Kong with really very big classes. Super excited about that. And he has been teaching for a long time. He's now a licensed teacher with the ICRT, a colleague of ours, friend of ours, and we're just super excited to have him here. His teaching philosophy emphasizes both technique, spiritual understanding, and he fosters a profound connection between his students and the practice of Reiki and encouraging them to incorporate Reiki's healing essence into their everyday life. So you can reach Kenloch at kenlochhealingspace.bootier.com. We'll put it in the show notes. That'll be the easiest place. But also, you can find Kenloch on Instagram, Kenloch the Oak Tree. And so you can find him there too. So, Kenloch, let's get into it. The last time we talked, you were in Hong Kong. You've since moved to Australia. So, catch us up.
Yeah, so I moved to Australia at the first beginning of this year. So at first when I come here, I feel like I'm not sure like if I can make friends here. But then I realized that it just doesn't make sense. The worries doesn't make sense. Like I think here is like very easy to make friends and very easy to start to talk about our our past and what we really do here. So people here are really open. The things that really surprised me is that when I talk to people about Reiki, so literally none of them saying that I've never heard Reiki before. So everybody got a bit understanding on Reiki, and then most of them say, "Oh, my cousin do it, or my grandparents do it, or like my sister-in-law is doing this to me, blah blah blah." And then I realized that, oh wow, so people does know about Reiki here. So it's very funny that a couple months before, because I was still in my visa application process, and I kind of almost overstayed my original visa requirement. So when I re-enter the country, um, the government officer stopped me there, and then she asked me, "Oh, what do you do for working?" So I said, "I'm teacher. That's what I normally do." Because back in my culture, I'm not telling everybody, "Oh, I'm a Reiki instructor," or because in Hong Kong, not many people knows about it. So I told the officer I'm a teacher. So she started to be like, "Oh, what do you teach?" So back in my city, like back in my country, I usually said, "Oh, I teach religious studies because I used to do I used to be a TA in the university as well." So I said, but then this time I was trying to say, maybe I say Reiki, and then maybe she would know. And I said, "Oh, I teach Reiki." So the government officer face became like astonishing. Okay, she was like, "Oh, you know what? I study Reiki as well. I took Reiki class as well. So are you a Reiki master?" So yeah, and then normally I wouldn't call myself master, like because for people who don't really learn Reiki, feel like master is such a strong word. I don't want to put that image to the public. So you said, yeah, I'm a Reiki instructor. So she was like, oh, you're being too humble. You're definitely a master. And then we chit chat a bit on Reiki there for like 3, 4 minutes for no reason. But then like, I'm holding my passport. I'm waiting her to let me go. But then she started to be like discussing Reiki with me. So like it's very interesting that you for everyone here seems to know Reiki. I think that's because like Australia is a place that people really emphasized their health and their healthcare system is really good. And then there's also lots of Reiki clinic, like almost every suburb that I've been to next to the city, like they have their own Reiki clinic there. So I feel
Yeah.
like I'm living in a Reiki city and somehow very interesting. Is it like this? Yeah, in America as well. When you talk to people about Reiki, like does everybody know Reiki?
It really depends on where you are.
Yes. We live
So
in Portland, Oregon, so most people here have heard of Reiki, but that's not true in every state, probably. Yeah.
I see.
or territory. What city are you in again, Kenloch?
I'm in Melbourne.
Melbourne. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say it's like some of the bigger cities. Not every single person would know what you were talking about, but some of the bigger cities, a lot of people might. But yeah, you get outside of the big cities, and really just depending on where you are, there's going to be a lot of people that don't know what it is.
Yeah, I
Yeah, we
see, I see.
certainly don't have clinics all everywhere. So that's
Oh,
that's amazing. Wow. I love that.
yeah. So like even though when I'm traveling outside, I remember I was in Switzerland this summer. I was in Fiest Mountain, uh, next to Grindelwald. And then we were waiting to do the skydive, like not like bungee jump, but like the zip line, like from this mountain to this mountain. So everybody is frightened there. So like it was cold as well, so we were shaking. So I was shaking with my partner Marcus as well, and and then a couple of so an Australian couple came to us and then we start to have random conversation. So when they asked what do I do, I said, "Oh, I'm a Reiki instructor." And then they all like, "Oh, I learned Reiki. I learned Reiki before." So they are working in the hospital, and they said, "Well, then." So the supervisor asked them maybe they can learn Reiki and then they can do some research or like together on Reiki stuff. So I'm not sure if that Reiki, because we always say that Reiki has the unified consciousness that will bring us to the right people or the right tribe of people. Maybe it's that, or maybe it's just that Reiki is very popular in Australia. That's why that every Australian that I've bumped into, they have heard that before. So then we start to do Reiki on the mountain and be like, yeah, so the fear is just in our mind. It's not real. Okay. So let's do SHK, let's do Seiheki on it, on the fear. And then when we do the sublime, like we're really peaceful. We are the most peaceful group when we're doing the sublime. Yeah.
The zip line runners must have been like, we need that Reiki stuff.
Yeah.
Well, so then you've been in Australia for a year, so kind of catch us up on what it's like there for you, and are you teaching classes there? Are you going back to Hong Kong or online? Yeah, catch us up on your life.
Yeah, so I'm mostly teaching online now, but I'm still going back to Hong Kong every once a while, so probably twice in a year. But I'm thinking recently because I feel like more comfortable now to teach classes in English. So I'm thinking maybe next year I'm going to start to teach class here. Um, yeah, so my life here is just peaceful. So I'm not sure if it's like for people who live in the big city. So when we were living in big city, we feel like the time is very limited. We feel like the time like goes really fast. We don't have enough time to do this thing, and we don't have enough time to take care of ourselves. But after we move here, we feel like, oh, we have a bunch of time. So even though we have couple tasks, so after we finish the task, it's just still plenty of time. So it really allows me to do more self-care, and it really allows me to think about what next step is. So instead of being run or being controlled by the energy of city, I feel like I'm more uh, in my own energy and in my own power. So I started to do more things to take care of myself because maybe it's like family genetics. I my family lineage had like really every one of them, like both side of family, have high blood pressure, except my mom, because my mom is vegan. So she's the last person having the high blood pressure. But then the rest of my family all have them. But after I moved here, I started to do more self-care work and self-healing work. And my blood pressure is like normal than ever, even normal than my teenage time. So it's like super good. Um, and I also lost more weight. I think because I'm walking more here. So because I moved from big city, like from a city that doesn't need driver license to survive. So I don't have a driver license now yet. So I'm walking a lot. And then the road here is very wide that you feel like oh walking is not a hassle thing to do. So that's why I lost 10 kgs for over the last few months. So overall, I feel like I'm getting healthier and healthier. And it's what I really wanted to achieve, like to be a healthy person. Because I think Reiki is like this, right? When we more in a healthy state, that we are able to help people and be able to transmit their health energy a lot easier to everybody. Yeah, so like lots of growth and lots of changes here. Positive.
Well, probably the rhythm and the energy of Hong Kong, I haven't been there, but my impression of it is that fast-paced, very busy,
Yeah.
rhythm of it, which I'm sure is beautiful in its way, but I can imagine that, yeah, living there has that energy of that busyness.
Yes. Yeah, and also I said like here it's very easy to start conversation. So I feel like when I start to talk about Reiki to people, like not intentionally, not in a preaching style that oh you should try Reiki, just saying that oh I do Reiki, it's also making people have an image that is getting more and more popular. That Reiki is not just a spiritual practice; it's rather a personal like self-care technique. And I think some of the conversation that I started, that also makes those people feeling like, oh, maybe I should try to learn it somewhere. And while spreading Reiki in somehow, not unintentionally, but then still spreading.
Well, and also you say that you have been, part of what you actually emphasize in the essence of your teaching is how you use Reiki in your everyday life, that it's more than, you know, laying hands on somebody on a table. It's actually, I always call it a life management tool. Like it's what I use for daily life to just manage daily life.
Yeah, totally. And I think my Reiki practice is also after moving here also a little bit changed because like back in the city, I feel like I have to do lots of kenyoku, lots of dry bathing, and lots of protection kind of work to set the boundaries. So after I moved here, I realized that I did that less. Well, because I don't need to keep doing that to keep my like spiritual hygiene. Yeah, and then after move here, because the energy seem more simple here, and then we are more grounded here. So I'm not doing as much as uh so-called protection work to myself. Mm.
So it sounds like it's just an easier place to live.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's a lot easier back in life in Hong Kong. But it's not like that I don't like Hong Kong anymore. I
Yeah.
still enjoy the time when I was in Hong Kong. So last months, like last 2 months, I was in Hong Kong. I was teaching my class and I was hosting William as well. And yeah, I think it's just amazing to be in the city and then to really enjoy the vibrantness of the city. And then also I think it's amazing that I'm able to bring such a good teacher to Hong Kong and to let our community meet William as well. So they're not really just from the book or we saw pictures of William, but William is actually there. So I
Well,
think things just oh,
no, go ahead.
so I think things just being more. I would say 2025 for me is a year of manifestation. So all what we imagined like suddenly become like a daily life. Say we only read on the Reiki manual that there are Reiki clinics and then people that they try to put the Reiki into the hospital and do healthcare work. And boom, when I was in Australia, I actually see Reiki clinic. But that's not a thing when I was in Hong Kong. And then for people who took my class, they knew William created Holy Fire from the manual. And then boom, this year people actually see William in their face. So it's just a year of manifestation.
Well, he definitely I talked to William all the time, and he really talked about how much he loved being in Hong Kong, how helpful it was with everything that you and Ting did to host him, and how much he loved the people and the classes. So he definitely talked about how what a great experience it was and how appreciative he was for the work that you guys did to bring him there. It was really, really meaningful to him too. Yeah. Well, gosh, we were going to talk today too about your knowledge around dicomio, the symbol, the what we often refer to as the Usui Master symbol or Usui Master practitioner symbol. And we want to go ahead and say it out loud here, even though normally we keep the names of the symbols sacred and don't really say them out loud. But for the benefit of this talk, it has enough, it has the value to go ahead and talk about it because Kenloch is very, very learned, very definitely knows the symbols really well and the history. So, Kenloch, when you're ready, if you want to just kind of start telling us what you know, and I'm excited to learn more from you.
Yeah. So historically, so what we always learn from the manual and then told by our licensed teacher is that Dicomio is originally from Mrs. Takata and also maybe from Iris Ishikulo. And yeah, but then when we start to look into the history of Kurama Mountain and then also to understand the religion of the Kurama temple more, and then we are able to see that oh, Daikomyo is actually always there. So Kurama Temple is founded in AD 660. So they have a prayer that from their belief that Daikomyo is included uh, in that prayer. So there are some different sayings on the origin of Daikomyo. So some said, oh, it's from the Zen Buddhism religion. It could be. And then some said it's originally from Jorei, which is one of the uh, traditional way to do energy work in Japan. And then, but I would say I have a theory that Daikomyo is originally from the Kurama temple, from the prayer. Well, it's just a theory. But then I think by understanding the prayer, we are able to understand what dichomio really means originally. And then we can also to understand the hieroglyphic meaning behind dichomio, because like what we said last time, every stroke of symbol, or like every stroke of kanji, that has meaning. So eventually becomes like the word that we're using nowadays and the symbols that we're using in Reiki system. So well, let's go through that a bit. So I'm going to do the screen sharing. So for people who are looking, who are listening to podcasts, if you'd like to see the prayer, like in Japanese, we can you can go to the YouTube channel of Colleen. Okay, so now we are looking in a prayer that is from Kurama Temple. So when you visit Kurama Temple, you took the tram from the bottom of the mountain and go to the middle of the mountain where the temple is located. And then after a couple minutes of walking, you get into the main temple. And in the main temple, there's a place for people to do rituals and for people to do the prayer. So it's usually by invitation or by appointment. Like when you go there, you can make reservation, make appointment to receive rituals from the priest in Kurama Temple. So just at the corner of taking reservation up there, when you look up and then you are able to see this prayer. And then this prayer is where the founder of Kurama temple originally channeled. So it has been a really important prayer because it's also described where the religion of Kurama temple original from, and then also the original ideas of them. So it's sort of like Reiki ideals, like what Usui wrote, Reiki ideals, but then it's like Kurama ideals. So let me give everybody some background. So originally, Kurama Temple is not a Buddhist temple, but then for some phrases, the Emperor of Japan start to they're trying to control the speech and trying to control the religion, and then to ask every religious group have to register themselves into Buddhism or into Shintoism. So for them, Kurama Temple, they kind of have to register themselves into Buddhism because the god they were worshipping, they believe that the god is like a holy trinity between sun, moon, and earth. But then in Shintoism, they already have their own god, goddess of sun and god of moon, and also the god of earth as well. So Kurama Temple couldn't register themselves into Shintoism, so they turned into a more inclusive religion, which is Buddhism. But then, so because it's helping them to reserve their own belief as well. So from the prayer, we can have the English version here, and also we have a traditional Chinese translation here. So the title of the prayer will be A Prayer for Sonten's Blessings. So Sonten is their religion. Sonten is what the god they are worshipping. So what we just said, the Holy Trinity from Sun, Moon, and Earth. And they believe Sonten is originally from Venus. Okay, so let's go through the prayer a little bit. Let's dive into it. Well, we might feel energy as well because when I start to say it, I'm saying it with the Reiki energy. So let us all get the benefit of it. Okay. Mount Kurama, a prayer for Sonten's blessings. To further elevate humanity and to augment prosperity and glory. Sonten, as beautiful as moon, as warm as the sun, as strong as the earth. O Sonten, please bestow upon us your overflowing grace. In this sacred place, may peace triumph over discord. May selflessness conquer greed. May sincere words overcome falsehood. And may respect prevail over insult. Elevate our souls and bestow glory upon our bodies. O Sonten, great spirit of the universe, great light, Daikomyo, and great active principle. To us who gather before you, worshipping and drawing near to your heart, please grant new strength and a glorious light. Thank you. So it's the prayer. Colleen, we accepted it in the Mount Kurama as well, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, and then I think we actually see Daikomyo here, right? Back to the ha. So back to the prayer, Japanese prayer, we see Daikomyo here. And it's in the last paragraph. So the whole topic is really about Daikomyo. So here we have the translation of Great Light. So this is what Daikomyo, when we direct translate it into English, would be Great Light. So well, let's go through this a little bit. So Daikomyo, in their belief, so this is the structure of a poetry, right? So you see, Great Light, Daikomyo, is actually referring to Sonten. So Daikomyo is another way to address Sonten. And then when we go before that, and when we look into the essence of Sonten, then we are able to understand what Daikomyo is in their religion, in their belief, and we can bring it over to our Reiki practice. Okay, so originally we just said, oh, it's as beautiful as the moon, and as warm as the sun, and as strong as the earth. So like it's telling us that the Daikomyo is having these three kind of strength from sun, moon, and earth. And then there are also hieroglyphic meaning from Daikomyo that is three beaming light in the kanji that we will go over later. Let's just focus on the meaning first. And it said in this sacred place. So the sacred place is actually could be multiple things. The sacred place could be actually in the Kurama mountain, right? So like Kurama temple. And he could also be saying that the earth that we're living in. So like look into our daily life, like to bring this energy into our daily life. And it could also mean our body, because our body is the sacred space for our soul. So we say, may peace triumph over discord. So we use the peace, we use our inner peace to heal the discord. So say our life is in a challenging period, or say some people are in their dark night of the soul. So when we start to retrieve the peace within our soul, then we are able to use the peace to heal, to change our life. So may selflessness conquer greed. So like when we're feeling like, oh, we're not enough, like we're feeling like we are not having enough of resources, and then we can go back to the selflessness, and then to conquer the greed we have. So we have to take a look at, well, because originally the Japanese word of selflessness here is this here. Okay, so in Chinese, in Cantonese, is 冇欲 or 无欲 in Mandarin. But selflessness is not actually like a direct translation because there's no such word in English word. But the 冇欲 here is more like we don't have desire, so the desire is gone. So almost like emptiness. Well, but when we say desire, so it's when we say we have no desire, it's not like that, oh, I don't want to do that anymore. I don't want to having good foods, having relationship anymore. It's more like in a context of we are content. We feel like we are enough. So so the selflessness here is more like we're saying that we are enough and then we are content, like to conquer greed. So in the context of Asian culture, the greed is not just wanting more. Greed is something that you want to get in a negative means. So if you want more, so say, oh, I want to having more money, and so I need to work more. It's not greed. Greed is something that you want to do it in negative means in order to get what you want to have. So say I need to scam somebody because I want to get more money. So this is greed. So for this, it's actually really lovely, right? Because when we say dichomio, like when we do dichomio to ourselves, it's reminding us that how much support that we have from universe and how much resources they already have. So to remind us that we are always one, we are always connected to the universe. So, well, yeah. So this sentence definitely align with our Reiki practice, like selflessness, conquer greed. So the next part will be may sincere words overcome falsehood. So when we do dichomio, that it has a saying that it connect us back to our higher self, and then to connect the spiritual self to the physical self. So in our holy fire training will be connect our authentic self to our ego, or bring authentic self to our everyday life. So I think here also aligns, right? So may sincere words overcome falsehood. Is that maybe we have to put on a shield and to put on a personal mask, like like to demonstrate the false part of ourselves, just in t- just to say appease somebody or to survive. So, but then dichomio here or Sonten here is reminding us that our sincere words or our authentic self is actually very important as well in our daily life. And may respect prevail over insult. So, like also like the self-respect and respect the earth and respect people next to you, to aware that people have their own story, and to keep our judgment to ourselves, and to know that the judgment is from duality, is just your perspective, it's not the truth here. And then after you're doing all this, after you are able to use your peace, triumph over discord, selflessness, conquer the greed, and then sincere words overcome falsehood, respect prevail over insult, then our soul will be elevated, like what it said. So it's like it's telling us the way to ascend or the way to become enlightenment in this religion is to do all these four things. Okay, and then Sonten bestow the glory upon our bodies. Okay, so these four sentences like actually conclude what dichomio means. And then there's a further explanation here. So say, oh, Psalm 10, great spirit of the universe, and great light, and great active principle. So the active principle here actually means more like a manifestation, or like the universal law. So it's saying that the great light is actually universal law. Okay. So it's talking about when we talk about great light from the symbol, so like dichomial. So we said like it's the original or like the great beaming light from the universe, and Chesha from the universe, right? So it's saying that it's always there. So this sentence is always saying it's just a law. It's just like a law. It's definite. It's always there. Okay, so it's what the whole prayer is. Like when we receive the the rituals from Kurama Mountain, from the priest, is one of the prayer that they will chant to you, like at the end of the ritual, like to sort of to conclude everything there. Yeah. So, Colleen or Robin, do you have any question? Anything to add on?
Well, I love this explanation because, as you know, I was just in Japan also teaching with William on Mount Kurama, and we did do the blessing. Sorry about that. We did do the blessing ceremony with the priest, and I recognize some of the words that he spoke. I could recognize, but I also recognize the energy of this prayer in the blessing, and then the energy of it in my understanding of Daikomyo. Very much how my own relationship with the energy of Daikomyo has been. And, I know one of the translations that we work with is Treasure House of the Great Beaming Light. And I often see that as my body as a treasure house of my great beaming light, and how that is coming together with earth, sun, and moon. It's, I can hear it in all of the ways I've understood it, but not exactly in this context. So I really love the energy of it.
Yeah. I think like when we talk about this, it can also make our understanding to dichomio more concrete, right? So that when we know the original, or to have more other text to explain what dichomio is. So, I think that we have to remind everybody something here, is that we discussing the meaning, like the cultural meaning behind the dichomio. So we're not talking about, oh, if you use dichomio, then you have to believe in this religion, or you have to be religious in their ways. It's not like this. It's just an understanding here. Okay.
Well, I am curious, and maybe we'll get to this aspect because it is kind of switching subjects a little bit. Is then if this is a part of the, Mount Kurama in this way, what does this mean from, like, if we were to think about it maybe from a historical context?
So, could be when Usui Sensei, when he was meditating in the temple before he went to the cave, like could be he already seen this prayer already, because the prayer is not hiding in a discrete place. It's just there. It's just right next to the main temple.
Yeah.
So everybody walk in, they're able to see this temple, this prayer. So could be Usui Sensei a little bit inspired from this, And then we also found other evidence that Usui Sensei used to explain philosophical topics to students that include dichotomy as well. So even though at that moment it's not a healing symbol, it's still there anyway, it's always there. And then also from some understanding of where dichomio from. So some said it's originally from Iris Ishikuro when she practiced Jorei. So if Jorei is like a healing system around the Kansai area, originally. So they might hear of this prayer before. So that's why they bring the elements of Daikomyo into Jorei, and eventually becomes part of our practice nowadays in the Reiki system that we're practicing in. So, but it's sure all just a theory because it's very hard to really, unless Usui Sensei can like resurrected today and come up to say, yeah, you know what? I heard of dichomio, but then it's not impossible. It's impossible for such things to
Right.
happen. So it's just theory. Yeah.
I think I would bring up from the historical context too that when I originally learned Reiki in 2000, Daikomyo was considered to be an original symbol that Usui worked with in Reiki. And then when the evidence-based history was discovered in the 2000s, a little bit, late 1990s and 2000s, then it was understood that Daikomyo was actually adopted into the system of Reiki by Mrs. Takata in the 1970s as a master symbol to create the master class. I originally learned it as it was only to be used when you gave a Reiki attunement. And in my own intuition with it, which later came through, I found it to be a very important practitioner symbol, that it brought really powerful healing to people. And because the original system of Reiki that I worked with was very strict, I always felt like when I was using Dicomio differently than I was originally taught, I felt like I was breaking rules. But the energy of it would come through for my clients and it would show up and I could experience the energy, particularly helping people to feel a greater sense of belonging in their body and on the earth. And that I found that it could heal a really big sense of loneliness that people had commonly, even if they had lots of people around them. Sometimes that feeling of what is this planet anyway? Why am I here? And I found that Dicomio could really make a difference in that in people as a practitioner symbol. And then the understanding, once I started studying 3 years later, I started studying with William, and that with the evidence-based history of Reiki, discovering that Usui actually practiced a very intuitive style of Reiki, it allowed me then to open up my own kind of relationship with the Dicomio symbol. And it has always now been just a really powerful symbol that I use as a practitioner. That the healing properties of it, now even hearing this poem, it just all matches. It's like that alignment that comes in, that connection with the earth, body connection, heaven, above, below, and within. It's because this is the first time I've heard the prayer, and it's all just clicking in. It's like, oh, look at that, look at that, look at that. So
Yeah, it's very exciting. I think Reiki is always guiding us to really see the meaning behind Reiki. So it's very interesting that because I when I was living in Hong Kong, I visited Japan like say 4 or 5 times a year. So I went to Kurama Mountain all the time. So at least once a year. But then before am a licensed teacher, when I went there, I did actually miss the prayer. I didn't really see the prayer there. It's very interesting that one time I was there, I was there ordering candle and ordering some of the souvenir there that I normally love to give it to my student in the class. And uh, well, maybe my Japanese is so broken. Even though I learned 2 years of Japanese, my Japanese is still a little bit broken. So they realized that, oh, I'm Chinese. I can speak Mandarin. So they asked the staff, like the Chinese staff, to talk to me. And then the Chinese staff was like, "Oh, you know English, right? So, could you do some work for me?" And I was like, "Yeah, okay, I can do some work for you." And then she asked me to translate some of the explanation of the souvenir. So she already translate it from Japanese to Chinese, and she's asking me to do it into English for her. So I did that for her. Like I spent an hour there probably to translate everything into English. Like this is prosperity, or this is Heart Sutra, and this is for health. Like doing the description translation for her. And then after that, she was like, "Yeah, you did that for us. Okay, let me give you a um, complimentary ritual." So at the corner of research, like making appointment to the ritual, and I saw this prayer. And then when I saw this prayer, I said, "Oh, Daikomyo is there. How come I didn't know?" But before that, I was already in Kurama Mountain for like 5, 6 times. But at the year of me applying, becoming a licensed teacher, it just show up to me. So it's just reminding me that we always have the information that we need in the right period of time. Like we don't have to keep like striving for the having more information. You just show up, like what Colleen just said. Yeah.
And I wonder too if the energy of this, I know obviously that it being a sacred mountain is a part of why it's obviously so conducive to spiritual and enlightened experiences, but specifically with Reiki, great white light, and also the energy of Reiki being something that is like given to us. It's also within, I understand that, but that it's easy to use. That it's, we receive an attunement, we have to learn things about it, but that it, relatively speaking, it's pretty easy to use. And to me, it's like the energy of that poem and the energy of that is very conducive to that aspect of it.
Yeah, I agree. So the amazing part of Reiki is that we only have to we when we receive attunement, then after attunement we can start using Reiki.
Yeah,
Where when we learn Qigong, learn Tai Chi, it takes multiple years for people to really be able to channel energy. Yeah.
exactly.
So my partner's mother is a qigong teacher back in Hong Kong. So she's teaching qigong in university as well. So she's teaching classes for the physiotherapy classes, like training physiotherapist classes. Like taught, she's still teaching. She's still teaching qigong there, where people realize that, oh, you took multiple months, at least multiple months and years to be able to channel energy and starting to send it to others. So yeah, I think Reiki is just a lovely gift. Like it's very easy to learn. It didn't take that long, like to practice, and we can start having the benefit at the very beginning of practicing it.
Do you have any information on Usui, because it was a year after he received Reiki on the mountain that he was guided to add the attunements? Do you have any information on where he received that guidance or what inspired him?
Okay, so last 2 years I was taking some Japanese style Reiki class in Kyoto. I was taking classes with Hyakuten Hinamoto, so which is one of the teacher of our lineage. Like he's one of William's teacher. So what he said in the class is that originally Usui Reiki doesn't have attunement. So when we do attunement on others, or when we want somebody to have Reiki, they have to meditate with Usui Sensei and to receive sessions from Usui Sensei, and one day they can start using Reiki, but we didn't know how long would that be. And before the Great Canton earthquake, so Usui Sensei started to try to find a more easier way to let people use Reiki. And then during the Great Canton earthquake, because it's so important that to have more practitioner at that time, so Usui Sensei asked Reiki and then channeled a way to do the attunements on others in a more efficient way. So that's the information I have. So from this story, we kind of know that Usui Sensei channeled it in Tokyo, like channel the attunement, which is called Reiju at that time. So we also aware that originally when we do all the attunements in Japanese lineage, it's not hand position. It's just sending energy, or more like meditation and asking Reiki to do Reiki on us. A little bit like the holy fire ignition and placement that we're having now. And then the reason that is having more and more hand position later on in the Japanese lineage and in the original style of Western lineage that we learned is because Hayashi Sensei uh, was Hayashi Sensei was working with Usui Sensei to figure out if there is other way to do attunement. So, like Hayashi Sensei, because of his medical background, I think he would want something more concrete or something more ritualistic, like just like doing a surgery. So, so he started to add these elements into the Japanese style of attunement. And then, well, but then the information that I had is that Uzi Sensei uh, is open to it, but that doesn't mean that Uzi Sensei want it to become a standard way of doing it. Because Uzi Sensei has his own style of doing his own style of attunement. And then, but after Usui Sensei passed away, after Mr. Ushida, like the second generation of the Usui Gakkai, like the association, um, he started to set up more standard way, and the standard way is probably what Hayashi Sensei was left at that time before he left the Gakkai. So yeah, I think when we look into this information, then we know that Reiki doesn't have a like a one right way, like the only way to do attunement. There are multiple ways to do, and then Wusui Sensei did it with intuition. He got it from intuition, and he got it from like it changes and evolves by time. So when we bring this information to holy fire. It just makes sense. Because still remember that originally when we do the Tibetan style and then we shift from Tibetan style to holy fire style of attunement, people had their doubt, right? People were like, "Oh, we have been doing it for so long time. How come this easier way can do better work?" Like people are having doubt like this. But then when we look into this information of history, it just totally makes sense because there was never the only way to do attunement. Like even and Usui Sensei doesn't use hand position to do uh, attunement as well. Yeah.
Well, I was fortunate to have lunch with Hiroshi Doi Sensei. Um, Gosh, it's been quite a few years ago now, and that was the same thing that he talked about and showed me. I asked him how Usui Sensei even managed to attune 2,000 people in the 4 years that he was alive, because after he received Reiki, um, because it was such a significant amount of people. And then he also, Doi Sensei also took the time right then to show me about 6 other ways that Usui had done attunements, varieties of ways. And so I think it did always evolve. And even Mrs. Takata evolved her own style of attunement. So by the time I received Reiki in 2000, and then probably by 2005, when I had studied with multiple teachers, I probably learned, I don't know, 8 different attunement styles that I was taught in. And so it has always evolved. It has always worked with us according to what we need.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's just like Reiki energies is telling us that there's no limitation in Reiki. Like we can always have our own style of doing it. Yeah.
Mhm.
And shall we move to the hierarchy of Daikomyo?
Yes, I just wanted to say real quickly, I did
Awesome.
run into Hyakutin Sensei Inamoto on the train this year, on my way back from Mount Kurama into Kyoto. He happened to get on the train at the same time, and I had spent time with him
Oh,
last year
really?
also. He just walked on the train. It's like, well, there
Wow.
you are. So, yeah, and he talked about
Wow.
meeting with you. So, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
And I think
we
yeah, I
love
think
him.
he's having classes now in Kyoto with a group of Myanmar students. So
Oh,
that's
yeah.
why. Yeah, the period overlapped. Oh, very
Yes,
interesting.
yeah.
And you guys talked about me.
Yes.
Oh.
It's such a small world, right?
Right.
Yeah, we
Hey.
love it. Yeah,
Oh,
he is such a just a lovely, lovely man. Just yeah. So
yeah.
anyway,
And William and him met as well. Yeah.
no, William wasn't with me at that time.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, yeah, it was
Yeah,
just
lovely.
us. Yeah,
Yeah. Did you guys have conversation on Reiki as well? I'm sure your audience would like to know.
little bit. Yes, he was just, it was just from Karama to I never can say the name correctly, Demachiangi Station. So it was a very short period.
Oh,
He went
yeah.
his way, we went our ways. I did get to spend time with him last year, when I was there, so got to spend more time with him there.
Yeah. Lovely. Must
Mhm.
be a very sacred day for two Reiki master to meet there.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the train. Anyway.
Yeah.
Well, yes,
So
I would love to go to the next section too.
so let me give everybody some context that Chinese word is a hieroglyphic language, so which is something like Egyptian language. Like it's originally pictures, images, and then they make those images into different parts. and then after they make it into different parts and become the square words that we're having nowadays. So when we look into when we look into the Chinese word, when we look into every stroke, then we are actually able to understand what it means there. So and also dichomial, like these three words interfered visually, are very common in Chinese language and very common in Japanese kanji as well. And but just when we put these three words together, like it's really something more religious or something more spiritual meaning. But when we understand them individually, then we are able to understand the meaning of dichomial more as well. So when we look into Dai, Dai means big, right? Like we just have a meaning of like great, big. But then, so it's how the big originally created. So in Chinese word, this with the second and third stroke of Dai means man or like human or like human. So how do they create this word like from human to Greek? Is that they put the first stroke here. So it's like an image of people holding their hands, raise their hands. So if we use some of our imagination, so originally there's just one man here, but when more and more men raise their hand and then hold their hands together, then it becomes big. So
And he's saying big.
yeah, and it's big. It becomes big.
Big. Yeah.
Yeah. So so when we say great, it just is describing the size, right? But then in this context, it's more like telling us how great the universe is, like how like it's almost like unified consciousness that when man to man, like human to human, when they're all connected together, then it becomes great. So some of saying that Dai means origin is accurate as well. So because it's explaining to us something bigger than us. So which is we can means like universe. It can means like the origin or source as well. Okay, or you can just mean great.
Would
Okay.
it be used in a context of like, oh, that was a great play? It was only used in the context of great in this idea of like the great, or big type of source.
Yeah. You can describe size and you can describe something that magnificent as well. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And then, well, in daily life, it's more like describing the size of things. But then, if we put into different contexts, then it can also mean that, oh, it's such a magnificent thing here. Okay. And then, core, like here, directly just mean light. If we put it singly, it's just to put it light. Okay. So when we say, we can say, like, oh, this room is not very bright. So could you turn on some light? Okay, oh, we need some more light here. So it's like very daily use word as well. And say like, oh, it's too bright, I couldn't see. Then it's also like a daily word here. But when we look into the hieroglyphy here, so we see the three dots here, like 3 points here, right? So it actually refers to what we just discussed, like Santen. When we say Santen, it's like sun, moon, and the earth. Like it's talking about the origin of the light, right? And then also when we look into different religions, say starting from the Asian religion, like three has been a really important numbers. So say when we look into Hinduism, the original like the three gods there will be Krishna and Vishnu and then Shiva, where represent three kind of original energies of the earth, which is the energy of destruction, the energy of expansion and the energy of balance there. And then also, like when we look into more Western religions, say in the Kabbalistic uh, education, like in the Tree of Life, there have three how do you call it? Three
So
pillars.
channels.
Yeah. Three channels, so three pillars, right? And also represent the pillars of balance and the pillars of disruption and pillars of expansion, like the neutral energy, the yang energy, and the yin energy, like the active energy and the passive energy. So it's talking about like the light is from these three sources. So it's also telling us that the light or the Reiki energy are able to do balance, are able to do clearing, like destruction, and are able to do expansion, like to raise our vibration. Okay, and then we have the fourth stroke of the die, of the core, which is here. So we have to draw uh, a, a thicker line here. Because this represents the separation or like the curtain between spiritual world and the physical world. So up there here is spiritual world, and down there will be physical world. Let me tell you why. So when we have the core, have the fifth and sixth stroke here, so it's like two stroke, right? So it's actually representing the duality of world. So because duality is the only thing that exists in this physical world. In spiritual world, there's Holy Trinity, and the Holy Trinity work together very, very well. Like the energy of balance, destruction, and also expansion, they're working perfectly together. But then when we are in physical world, then we start to see some conflicts, and then we start to see duality, and then we start to see some uh, comparison, like which is better, which is worse, and this is correct, this is incorrect. We start to have this kind of dualistic term, and then it's what physical world is. But then the word core here, the light here, is reminding us that even though we see the duality now here in the earth, but then their origin of it is all light. So it's all from one sources. So the negative and the positive, they are all created from the universe, and they are the manifestation of these three kind of energies. So to let us to understanding the meaning of duality. So back to Honsa Se Shonen, the shonen there, shonen when we direct translate it, it means positive mind, or like positive thoughts, or like it could be mean mindfulness. So in the mindfulness training, what we do is that we to aware that there is the duality exists in our mind, and we let go of it. So say I have a duality mind, talking about myself. Say, oh, I look fat today, and then like that. And then the next moment I'll be like, oh, it's just a thought. So fat is by comparison. Then the comparison is not real in the spiritual world. So we let go of this judgment to ourselves, and then go back to the state of mindfulness. So the core here, while having the Holy Trinity and the duality in one word, is reminding us they are all light originally. So yeah, I think it's very, very good when we are able to explain this to a student. Could be a philosophical understanding and self-reflection talk to our Reiki student as well. Okay, and the last is Myo. Myo can means like it's bright. So how can means something like it's shining there. Okay, and it could also mean tomorrow, but then it has to come with other word. Anyway, but then Myo, when we look into it, is sun and moon, right? So this is like the shape of moon. Can you see it? And this is like the shape of sun, the astrological symbol, like orbit and a dot, and the moon here. Okay, so sun and moon. So back in the days when there's no fire, no electricity, the brightest thing people can see is sun and moon. So these are the two shining things up there, up on heaven. Okay, and we create Mio together. It's not just shine, like it's not just bright. It can also means understanding. But the understanding would be like almost like enlightenment. Enlightenment. Okay, so in Buddhist term, in some Buddhist jargon term, we said wu biao, so mo ming, wu ming. So means that there is no light. So it's explaining when somebody is being their mind is closed up, they're doing things without thinking, and they're doing things without uh, aligning their own wisdom towards them. And then we say it's 目标, 梦, 无明, like this. So 明, myo here can means like you are enlightened in a way that your higher self, your spiritual self, is connected with your physical self. So you are naturally in a state of understanding. So you are understanding the physical meaning, both physical meaning and both spiritual meaning of things. Then you are enlightened. So it's almost like reminding us there's like the physical aspect of Reiki and also spiritual aspect of Reiki. So the physical aspect is like how you draw the symbols, how do you do those steps, and what the prayer would be like, and then this technical part of Reiki. But then when we learn Reiki, it's very important for us to understand the spiritual meaning behind. Say when we channel Reiki and when we start to ask Reiki to give us the guidance, it's about trusting ourselves and it's also about listening to the Reiki guidance. And then when we use the symbol, like we understand how do we draw it, and then we also understand like how every stroke, the meaning behind the stroke, and also the meaning behind the words. So when we put these three all together, then it becomes a great beaming light. So it starts to have giving us those information that we have on the manual. So will be like some said, oh, it's dichomio is giving us inspiration, like giving us more reminder from the universe. Because the whole word together would be like the origin, their light is bringing us enlightenment, or bringing us understanding. So yeah, just want to say like what we have always learned from the manual, from our teaching, it's like it's really aligning with the hieroglyphic meaning behind dichomio as well. Yeah. What do you guys think?
Well, the first thing I need to ask is what program are you using right now? I know it's on your iPad.
It's called
Fantastic.
Good Notes. It's called Good Notes.
Good notes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's one of the invention of my college classmates. It's from
Oh,
Hong Kong. You know
it's
what?
very good.
It's very popular,
I wonder if we can
very
get it
useful.
here. It's very good.
Yeah, when I teach, I like to use this.
I was gonna say, yeah, it's way more.
Yeah.
Anyway, well, we won't go into that because that was amazing that you were just talking about, but I had to find out real quick.
Yeah.
Well, I just feel like I have such a greater depth of understanding about it, and so much of what the energy itself has taught me over the years this makes so much sense, even going back to years ago when I started using it as a practitioner symbol for people healing that sense of belonging. And that's what I always thought of it as, that unification of their spiritual self with their human self and healing the belief in separation. And that gave them a greater sense of belonging. And then Holy Fire, the energy of it, kind of took it to the even next level of that unified consciousness. But this has been really informative, Kenloch. Thank you so much. Like, I really have learned a lot about it. And it's brought a lot of different things, pieces together that over the years, it's like, oh yeah, that's exactly.
I've
Yeah.
always thought of the Usui symbols, like how they kind of manifest for me. The three is funny enough that you were saying the Trinity, like the three, where it is the, you know, the self, the higher self, and God, guru, self, essentially. So it's interesting that that's also part, and I'm not saying that that's how they are actually, that's just how I understand them, and the kind of the universal law of the Trinity and the three. And so it's interesting that it's kind of in the energy of this symbol as well.
Yeah, I think when we dive into the number three, like it's very interesting that to see the Asian religions and also all the Western religions has its own understanding of three, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, and exact and at the end we realize that oh everything is very connected. Yeah.
So,
So
oh,
I
oh,
guess when Colleen Chen like have her own understanding of Reiki, I think it's definitely from Reiki, and because everybody is having a similar idea towards the same thing. Yeah.
so one of the things I'm curious about on Mount Kurama, they also, it's Sonten, I think Bishamonten and Kenon. So the
Yeah.
three deities.
Yeah. So the Bishan Mountain and also Kuan Yin or Canon
I
are
mean,
originally from Buddhism. So so when they want to call themselves Buddhism, they have to bring Buddhism into their religion. And then Bishan Mountain is like a protector of the Buddha, like the guardian of the Buddha. And then Kuan Yin is also very important as well. And because in Japanese Buddhism, Kuan Yin also connected to dragon, like to the dragon. So I'm not sure if that's true, but then when we go into Kurama Mountain, we saw lots of dragon, right? Like the
yes.
dragon in in the stair, like the hand washing place next to the stair, and then when we go into there, we saw more dragons. So could be the religion itself already have some belief on dragon. So Kuan Yin probably represent that part very well. And then also Kuan Yin's compassion energy and the peace energy is what the religion want. So William told this story, right? When he gave the world peace grid to the priest there, and the priest was like, "Oh, world peace is something that Yin now believe. World peace is what we are always working for." So it kind of shows us that this religion, like the Sonten religion, also emphasizes peace as well, and also from prayer as well. So Kuan Yin's peace and his compassionate energy would be a very good representative to this religion. So that's why they bring Kuan Yin into the religion.
Okay, that makes sense. Well, she's always been a really big guide of mine as well. She's been a big part of the teachings I receive with Reiki as well. And that's interesting. I didn't know that she was connected with Dragon because so many people, when they are sharing their experience in class with receiving the ignitions or the experiences, the attunements, they talk about how they see dragons. Like it's very common for them to say, "Oh, this big dragon came," and having an experience with that. So
Yeah.
that's awesome.
It's also from Chinese zodiac because when Japanese people brought Chinese zodiac into their belief, they start to put 12 Buddha, like 12 different Buddha, and then to kind of put them into a relative zodiac. So Kuan Yin is just in the dragon part of it. Yeah. And the dragon represent not only represent like the prosperity or all the things that we have. Dragon is also the protector of the water in their religion.
Oh,
Yeah, so that's why in Japan, when you often see dragon in temple, usually they are like having water from their mouth, right? For you to
yes.
wash your hand because it's connected. Like dragon is the god of water.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That makes so much sense too. So many
Yes.
things clicking in. It's like, oh, that's what that has been. I
Yeah.
love that. Well, and also on Mount Kurama, I know they have the Shinto shrine where the god trees are. They have um, the the shrine with the Buddha that is there too, and the different shrines all the way up. So it sounds like they're not sounds, but they are very inclusive as well.
Yes. Yeah. The thing that Japanese religion is they all really inclusive. Yeah.
Yeah, we were able to spend about an hour with the chief priest last year, and he really shared a lot with us because he was talking about the experience after the typhoon had, blown over so many of the trees and shrines, and talking about how he and the others were listening to the mountain itself for what wanted to be replanted, and inviting Sonten, what shrines would be rebuilt, how was this going to look, and for the future, of the temple.
Lovely.
Yeah, we were fortunate to be there this year in the ceremony where he was made the official chief priest. And so we got to be there for that as well. And then also in their ceremony of peace, where the other monks and priests come from different countries and pray for peace on Mount Kurama, they actually had the ceremony while we were there, and we got to be a part of that ceremony as well. So it was really lot of blessings, a lot of really amazing experiences.
Yeah. Very magical. I believe it's a very magical mountain. Yeah. So that's why you and William are always teaching class there.
Yes.
Yeah. Mm.
Well, Kenlock, share with us a little bit, for how people can get in touch with you, what it is that you are offering, because people will want to connect in with you. And, are you offering things in English? Give us the scoop.
Okay, so I'm starting to offer English class next year, and the period of time would be somewhere April and June. So you're welcome to contact me from Instagram, which is Kenloch, Kenloch, the oak tree. And then you can also find me on the ICLT licensed teacher website, and there has my email and all the contact that you need to have. And if you're in Australia, you're welcome to shoot me, like just send me an email, and then we can discuss Reiki together as well. And yeah, So I'm not teaching a physical class yet in Australia, but I hope I'm able to get to that point. So yeah, I'm sending this intention to universe. If you happen to have venue, you happen to have places that we can teach Reiki in Australia, Melbourne, somewhere next to Turek, and let me know. Welcome to let me know. I'm putting my advertisement here, and then yeah, welcome to invite me. And I'm really open, and I really look forward to see everybody in person and having more connections, share Reiki to everybody. Thank you.
Well, we also do have people, Chinese speaking people, the different languages. So I'll let you share which ones what languages you're teaching in for those classes too, because we have people in our community that are listening.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm also teaching classes in Cantonese and Mandarin. So the Cantonese class will be in Hong Kong. I will be in Hong Kong in January and also May as well, January and May next year. And then I will also teach Mandarin class online. So the online class will be like every 2-3 months. We have a cycle of class. So the Mandarin class will be in early January and also March next year. So welcome to talk to me. And then I feel like very lucky to be able to share Reiki in different languages. Uh, and yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah, great. Well, um, also for everybody listening, as you know, we put all of Kenlock's information in the show notes. We also are sending emails and we will have, announcing when the podcast is being posted. And of course on social media. So we'll have your contact information pretty readily available for people as well that they can reach out just to be able to connect with you. And
Thank you.
yeah, thank
I
you
love
so
your
much.
podcast. I love your podcast that always having people to be able to share themselves and to
Yeah.
promote for themselves as well.
We we love it too. It's such a gift and such a gift to get to share this kind of information that, really is I would imagine other people are having the same thing, like, oh, that makes so much sense for
Yeah.
the intuitive part of Reiki. And what I love with Reiki is it's not dependent on what we understand about it because of the attunements. It gives us the ability to give and receive Reiki without the understanding, but it also brings in the understanding. And I think for most of us, that's one of our favorite parts is to get to have that philosophical insight, the energetic awareness, and that inner remembering of it all too. Um, well, Robin, anything you want to add?
No, I think that that was just amazing. I agree with all that you just said. It does. It puts a lot of that awareness that comes through and then insight to like, oh, there it is. That's why. It's teaching. As you were saying, Ken, look, it teaches us.
Yes.
Mm.
Well, thank you, Kenlock. And of course, we'll want to have you back again, continuing to keep up with what's happening in your world and your story. Thank you so much for all that
Thank
you
you so
bring to
much.
our community. We really
Yeah,
appreciate you.
yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you. And thanks to our community for listening. And we did do quite a bit of screen sharing. So if some of it seemed a little bit like, what are they talking about? You can see everything on our YouTube channel. But also just know that what Kenlock was showing in the actual kanji of Daikomyo was each section of the kanji. So if you're not able to go back and listen to everything on YouTube or watch that part of YouTube, Just know that that's what he was doing, is, talking about Dai, then Ko, then Myo. So, all right. Well, thank you everyone for listening. Till next time.
See you next time.